This is Abe Friedhanser from Awards Watch, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with Cayley Giene about her makeup effects work on Resident Alien, which is one of my favorite shows on TV right now. How are you doing today, Cayley?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm excited to talk about anything related to this show because I really do enjoy it. I'd love to start off. Can you explain what makeup effects are and how that process works and what the difference is from visual effects?
Yeah, so with makeup effects, we make real life tangible prosthetics that we put onto actors that you can see and feel and touch in real life. Whereas with vis effects, it's usually either a mocap suit or a green screen or something where it's not really as tangible. You're not getting to see the actual end result until you see the show, whereas with us it's you see it right there, you're interacting with it.
Got it. And aside from Harry's face, what does that usually involve? What other makeup effects are there?
Well, there's all the cuts and like the any type of swollen injuries, black eyes. There's the I know the dead bodies with like bullet holes or any of the crazy paint jobs that we do. We did make number 42. He was originally a VisFX octopus, and we made him into a physical octopus because Alan was interacting with it so much, touching it and holding it and things. So we ended up making that into a real item as well so that he could like physically hold it and things like that.
So what does it look like when Alan is actually wearing whatever this is or, like this, and how does that differ from what we see on screen in a finished episode?
Well, Alan's makeup, what you see is pretty much what you get. VisFX does enhancements, so they'll like blink his eyes for us and like furrow his brow and stuff, but everything else under there is Alan, and that's Alan coming through those prosthetics.
Do you take any inspiration from other movies or TV shows or science fiction stories for Harry's look?
We never actually designed the look for Harry. It was another shop called WCT with the owner, Bill Terazakis, who sadly passed away in the spring, and that's how we ended up taking over the show. But I'm sure he did. He was a very wonderful concept artist and a really talented makeup effects artist as well. So I'm sure he got inspiration from everything.
Is there any work that you've seen that you haven't done yourself that has particularly impressed you that you like to cite as some of the best sort of in this business?
Oh, so many, too many. That's a really big question. I guess, like, I've always been a fan of Narnia. I've loved all the creatures and the characters. I thought Mr. Tumnus was one of the coolest makeups at that time. And that's actually what kind of got me into prosthetics and makeup effects was those films. Lord of the Rings with the dwarves. Like, I find anything that is hyper realistic where you can't tell if it's a makeup or not is extremely impressive, especially with age makeups or illness makeups and things like that.
So what has been most challenging about this show and about Harry in particular?
Well, each one of those heads that we have to make, like every cowl, takes about 5 days to make one. So I guess the turnarounds can get really tough. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, we got to move Friday up to Tuesday and we'll need that makeup on Tuesday now. And we're like, but we don't have it ready because it does take so long. So we've learned to have a couple on the shelf ready to go just in case something crazy happens.
How often do you have to switch it out?
It's a new one every single time Alan wears it. So every time he's in that makeup, it's a new one.
Wow. And so how has this show been different than other projects that you've worked on?
I think this one's a lot of fun. The scripts are so fun to read. Everybody is so nice to deal with. And Alan has been amazing. He loves getting prosthetics put on. So it's really nice and refreshing to have a lead of a show that like wants to be in the makeups, that enjoys being in the makeups.
He also sounds different when he's talking when we see him as the alien. Does that have something to do with the makeup, or that's just something he's doing?
I think that's just him doing it.
Very funny. So you've also worked on some other popular series that have a lot of creatures, aliens, etc. One of them, the most recent, is Peacemaker. Can you talk about what kind of work you did for that show?
A lot of exploding heads, a lot of people getting shot in the head with shotguns, a lot of cuts and wounds and stuff on Peacemaker. We did aftermath bodies of the heads of the people that got shot. Gosh, I did do a lot of work on it. Most of it was the cuts and stuff on John. That took a long time because it spanned across 2 episodes and it was quite extensive. What else did we do? We made at the very end, I don't know if you've watched the end of it, but there's basically like an exploded building. There's just body parts and pieces of people everywhere. And that was pretty fun. Yeah, mostly gore.
Well, so that's obviously a much more graphic show than this one. And I assume that you're somebody who doesn't mind seeing gore because you know how it's created.
Yeah, it's rubber, it's silicone. There's still some things I don't like making because it's a little too like real. So there is like, I have a line where I'm like, I don't want to make that.
What do you think would surprise people most about something that looks a certain way on TV or in movies that isn't really like that?
I think actually like autopsy bodies and how organs are actually in a body. There's movie magic, and what it actually looks like in an autopsy looks more fake than what we make for film. It's less believable because I guess the color of our fat is so yellow. It's like almost a fluorescent yellow, and it's not believable to look at if you're making it realistic. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I know you've also worked a lot on the CW Arrowverse shows. Do you have any particularly fun memories from those?
Oh, I really liked making the Anti-Monitor. He was fun. LaMonica was really great. He loved being in the makeup too. And that's what really like makes the shows fun, is if you have to do a 3-hour makeup on somebody and they enjoy the process and they want to be there. And I think that's fun. And I also did Brainy on Supergirl, the green Brainiac 5. And Jesse was also one of those people that was always so stoked about being in the makeup, and he was so into his character, and he just wanted everything to be like very comic realistic and true to the comic books and stuff, which was really nice.
That's good to know, especially because I think that's very much like his character. So it's good to hear that he's like that also. Are there any other shows or movies that you're working on at the moment?
Yes, so I'm doing Firefly Lane, which has an age makeup in it. I do Flash. I just finished a project called Reginald the Vampire with Jacob Balaton in it from Spider-Man. What else? Devil in Ohio. The shop is currently doing Shogun. We do Motherland. We do quite a few shows at once. Like we usually have like 8 or 9 going at the same time.
Is the vibe very different when you're doing age makeup on like a standard comedy or drama versus like something that has active aliens and exploding heads?
Yes. Definitely aging actors is probably one of the hardest things because they don't want to see themselves old. And I agree, I wouldn't either. So it's really hard. A lot of the time they get like, you can see them start to like get sad about looking old, and you feel bad because you're making them feel that way.
It's funny. Is there anything that you really want to do in the future, or a project you'd like to be involved with that you haven't tried yet?
I've done a little bit of everything. The one thing I really like to do that I would do over and over again is I like making animal puppets. So I like making, like, we did an animatronic photorealistic dog for the Turner and Hooch series that just came out on Disney Plus. And that was really fun. And I really like getting to do animals and like animal replica work.
Cool. Well, it's very interesting to learn all about this. I've been watching lots of stuff, obviously, with makeup effects for a while and just haven't really understood before. So thank you for this little introduction. And I hope that everybody will watch new episodes of Resident Alien on Wednesday nights on Syfy and pay close attention to Harry's alien face now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Welcome.